So, yeah, they're coming after Richard D. Hall. Front news this morning, on telenews, not on radio. Weren't on radio. No mention of it on radio. Excuse me. Right, Richard D. Hall. Who the fucking hell is Richard D. Hall? Well, Richard D. Hall is a conspiracy theorist. He's not a self-proclaimed conspiracy theorist like me. But according to the news article, it's a case. It's very much a case of not being able to see yourself from the outside. I used to follow, and interestingly, I used to follow his videos. I used to follow his YouTube content. But his YouTube content had been shut down. Now, I was unaware of this. Just sort of like, oh yeah, I'd watch a few of his videos now and then. Oh yeah, whatever. Yeah, very good, yeah. And then, not sort of bother my arse with it for a while. Well, he can't bother my arse with it at all now, because he's, as I say, they've taken his channel down. Or at least that's what they said on the news this morning. Because he's a conspiracy theorist. But it's alleged that he's been hounding people who are involved with certain big news items. Big things that have happened. And he's not buying any of it, apparently. He's not happy with the narrative, if you will. And so he's been hounding. So the story goes, he's been hounding the people who are involved in these news articles. And that is how they're going to bring prosecution against him. I think it's literally slander. Because he reckon the people involved in these big news articles, these big news items, these big things that have happened, it's his belief that these things didn't happen how they're supposed to have. How the narrative that's being peddled, as far as he's concerned, it's not right. So and I think he sees himself as a journalist. So he'll go and he'll ask people, oh, so what about this? What about that? And in doing so, he's basically harassing people. And on the back of that, oh dear, a prosecution can be brought against him. And he's purporting that these people are not that they're complicit in some sort of lie, in some sort of cockeyedness. And that's slander. It kind of goes back to something that, as I've said in many videos, you've got to be able to see yourself from the outside. You've got to be able to step back and step away from what you see, to what you believe, what you perceive to be reality. And just, right, how's this going to look to a third party? And I think that's where Mr. Hall is at somewhat of a disadvantage. Because I think over the years, over the long time that he's been doing this kind of thing, it's very likely he's lost sight of that. He's lost the capacity to see him, to have a look at, what is it that I'm doing here? Just what is it? How would this look to some disinterested third party? That's the important part of it. a disinterested third party. Not you and the protagonist. No. Not you and the other person at the other side of the argument. No. Some third party who's not interested. They're not interested. They've maybe they've got a cursory, and they've only heard the narrative, and the narrative has been fashioned to sound quite plausible. So as far as they're concerned, if you're not on board with the narrative, you're a fucking mental case.